Mike Hamilton with your detailed weekly review. A couple of bits of homework before I start. This is the new membership package, which hopefully you've seen the introduction of. If you haven't, let me know. So this is the equivalent of the new premium newsletter and the daily weekly analysis. Now tomorrow night, Monday night, is going to be the Monday roundtable, which you are all invited to. If you want login details, then please email me. It starts at 7 o'clock UK time, GMT, and so login details, email me. That will be just an hour. I'm going to time it, so it's going to be an hour exactly. I'm going to make sure I don't overrun, and so it's going to be free until the 1st of February, and if you want to continue with that and continue with this package, then you need to contact me. Just a message for you this week as well, the second bit of homework. Trade the Easy Way is only as good as its members, so we want you to be profitable. So it's important, if you're not already doing this, develop a routine. Particularly if you're a day trader, don't get sucked into these screens for hours on end. Be very, very clear about when are the peak times, when are the best times to trade, particularly around data, and organise yourself around that. Now, have a plan, have a very specific plan. If you'd like to take a lot of notes from what I'm suggesting and showing you, then write that out. Do your own organisation, your own planning, so that you go into these markets every day with a plan and you stick to it. And overall, you need to continue your education. I'm reviewing other people's videos, I'm doing background reading, I'm back testing, I'm doing a lot of work during the week that you don't see. It's important that if you want to be a professional, consistent trader, that you do that as well. Finally, before we get on to the review, just had this lovely email back from a member who did the beginner's course last year, just started trading, and this was what I called on the video on Thursday night. He put an order in the book, as did I. We got filled quite soon, a couple of hours after the video went out, he and I, and we were lucky enough to wake up to 250 points profit, but that just added to a total that he had over the last couple of days on the back of the videos, plus some additional trades that he'd taken himself. So well done to our member in Toronto, and long may it continue, and it'd be really interesting to hear your experiences as well, so that we can help support you. Right, let's get down to the video, to the review. Monday we just got a lot of European data out, not much else, so fairly quiet day for data on Monday. Tuesday we have 9:30 AM GMT, we have preliminary GDP. The room will be open on Tuesday morning, that is big data. Wednesday evening, 7:15 PM GMT, afternoon in the US, we have the Fed statement and Fed rates expected to be on hold, but a very big piece of data to come out nonetheless. And then Friday we have GDP for the US, so a very big data day in the markets. And let's get straight into the analysis. Here's the dollar, daily on the left, weekly on the right. We had 3 weeks back, we had a big buyers bar on the weekly, then we had a big sellers bar on the weekly, and last week we had a continuation and a breakthrough of this area to the downside. So it looks as if we want to head down to about the 76 area with all that big data ahead. So that bodes well for dollar pairs. The equity markets are a little bit hard to call because they're mixed. This is the Nasdaq. We had a seller's bar on the weekly on the right here, just closing below the previous week's bar and closing below this trend line, and you can see 3 days of selling on the Nasdaq. But on the financial markets, or this is the S&P 500 futures, which is more financial based, this held up. We had a seller's day and 2 sideways, so that's still a very hesitant bar on the weekly, and it's still very extended, so still expecting that to fall. And finally, the Dow futures market actually closed much more bullish of the 3 markets, so that's why it's tough to call. But I'm just very a little bit more bearish because of that drop in the Nasdaq. I don't like to see what I think is the leading market, the Nasdaq, dropping like that, so I am bearish because of that Nasdaq close. This oil is very range bound. It's been very tough week last week on the day trading front. Sellers bars, we've engulfed the previous week's bar, and here we are on the daily. We've closed below, open and closed below the 50 EMA and below a lot of price action over here on the left. So if we, I think, break below 89, and then we are going to come down to at least 87.50 pretty quickly. What we may do is we may do that in the very early part of the week, and then if the data that's coming out is positive, we may see a bounce off of these levels as we get down to the 50 EMA in the weekly. 50 EMA in the weekly is 86.5. However, if in the early part of the week we get back up above 89.50, then expect a bounce back into the range. But it is proving to be a very range bound market, and not looking for any swing trades at all at the moment until we can get some clearer indication. I've been long the cocoa market since we broke out here. A very nice weekly bar, looking for further moves back up to these highs on the weekly. Rough rice, very nice weekly bar here, and enjoying the ride up to these highs at the moment. About to hit, I think we're going to come up to at least 15.8, and need to see what we can do when we get out of there. On the daily we are in a breakout setup, so just enjoying the ride at the moment and see where that takes me. Gold, very important market of gold. Look at these weeks, we've had 3 weeks of selling off this triple top drop. A lot of support here at 13.29, we're currently 13.41, and expecting further moves until we can find a base. The 13.20 is a key level. Got a lot of support. We are on quite a lot of support here, a lot of price action here. 13.29 mark again. So let's just see if we can get a bounce off this area. But at the moment, this gold is looking very nice and short. 3 decent weeks of selling, and we need to see if we can get any reversal signals at lower levels. I think if you're not in it now, then you're too late. I think the best setup, or one of the best setups, was this reversal bar on Wednesday. Just that reversal bar under the 50 EMA. It was a great entry for a short. Soybeans, what a sideways action on the daily, and a very hesitant bar in the weekly. Looks to me as if it's just consolidating, getting ready to move to the upside. But the one I am in and swing long is this wheat. Wheat. Love the breakout up here. We're nice and neatly up there. We're going to pull back to $8.10. That would be a great entry to get long in this one. It's a nice breakout setup, and looking to get back up to $9.15 in the wheat. This is the New Zealand versus the US dollar. I called a long in the trading room on Friday afternoon on a 240-minute setup. We closed above the 50 EMA with a hammer-like bar on major support. So I'm very much liking the New Zealand US. I think we could come back, retest this trend line, and possibly break up and get up to 80. That's what I'm looking for. I'm going to hold my position with a stop below 75.22 to see if I can get that move to the upside. The weekly is closed above last week, the previous week's open, but admittedly somewhat hesitant. But this is a big seller's bar, so if you do take this, it's somewhat a counter trend trade, as you are trading next to that much selling. So if you are thinking about taking this, consider whether it fits your criteria and whether you want to take that risk. It's on your shoulder. CAD yen, this is on my watch list. I want to see if we can get back down below the 50 EMA. All these bars are red here. We've got open and close below the previous day's highs on the daily. I've had 2 weeks of selling on the weekly, so just looking to see if we can break down below the 50 EMA, and I would like to go short to see if we can get a breakdown of this support here, and a continuation of this shooting star up the top there, particularly with the oil weak. Aussie dollar versus the US dollar, you can see how I've got, just doing some wave analysis on the weekly chart here. We've had 3 weeks of selling, and we open and close within the previous week's range. So we are very range bound. I'm looking to see if we get the close below this level here, 98.64. If we do on Monday, then I would short the pullback to see if we can get it down to 93.70 on the weekly. Euro New Zealand, look at this weekly chart, broken right out of this area here. We closed just above this area, fractionally above it, so it's still very bullish. If you are still long this from my video on Thursday, then stay put, keep your stop below the 50 EMA and see if we can get back up to 183.40. Euro US, I am still long this one and looking for a target of 137. If you're not in this on the weekly, a pullback to 135, there's 120 points down from where we are, could be a good 135.35 is a good entry on the daily. Look at this massive support, 135.35. You would have to have a stop 2 bars back at 133.80 if you wanted to take that. Otherwise, let's see if there's any better chance out there. Is it just the weekly on the US dollar CAD? Just fascinated to see how this one can work out, because we've got, to me, what is a stopping bar on the weekly chart just at this key level of 99.38, and it's almost engulfed the previous week's action. And what I'm seeing for, if there's any nervousness in these markets, I think this US dollar CAD will get bought and could break out of here. So look at all this. When the fear came into the markets in 08, this just absolutely shot up. It's a massive run. So when I see a stopping bar at a key level like this, it gets me very, very interested. However, if you look at the daily, this daily is not setting up for long at all. So what I'm looking for is a wedge breakout. If we break out up here, I'm going to buy a pullback. So not that far off it. So this is another one on my watch list to see if I can get a move to the upside on the US dollar CAD. Finally, this pound. Yeah, not all of my trades work out. You'd be surprised to hear. Took a short on the back of this shooting star, the gap to the 8. The gap to the 8 was filled with a touch of the 8 EMA here. So I have taken money out of this market on an intraday basis. We closed fractionally above the previous day's bar, so it does look as if this pound has the capability of breaking out. So this is many days of buying. So test of the 8 is, as I said in previous videos, still confirmation of the bullish continuation. So my short is possibly going to be taken out. I'm going to hold it and then see, it's only fractionally away from where we are now, and then I'm going to see if that is going to it's going to stop me out now. However, I would not take, if you're not long this already, I would not take a pullback on a wedge breakout, because the RSI will be very, very high. So that's the thing to watch on this one. The RSI is very, very high, and we are only fractionally above, and we've got all that important data coming out on Tuesday morning. If that data doesn't live up to expectations, this could sell off. This could very well sell off. We are extended on the weekly from the moving averages. Let me just check that. Yeah, the next nearest moving average is 157.50. So, we are quite extending the weekly. It's just so there is still a possibility my short could work out, although it is unlikely. But if you're not in this trade at the moment, then if you're not in the long, then stand aside and let's see if we get some signals in the week for further swing trade entries. And on a final note, this is the 240-minute setup I took on the New Zealand US, which has put me in a swing position just slightly ahead of the game. I was looking at this RSI, these stopping bars here, what look to me like inverted hammers. So it had two higher closes here against the RSI colour change here. So I took an entry above 75.52. So I got the stop right down here at 75.29, which I'm going to lower just to get below the previous bar, which led me into this swing position on a hammer-like bar with a close above the 50 MA. So that's how I tend to use the 240-minute charts. Right, hope that helps. Look forward to seeing you in the trading room. If not, we've got the Traders Roundtable on Monday night at 7 PM sharp GMT. Please email me for details if you would like to join us, which I very much hope you will. Hope that helps. Thanks very much and see you soon.